Fred and Betty, is this the end? Episode 1. Betty's angry.
Fred, I found out about you and that other girl. How could you do this to me?
Has Fred really got another lady? Surely not. Find out in episode 2 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Find out about. Meaning. If you find out about something, you discover the fact or information that you did not know before, often because someone was keeping it secret. Synonyms. Discover, catch on to, detect, unearth.
Fred and Betty, is this the end? Episode 2. Not guilty. Betty thinks that Fred has been seeing another lady.
Betty, you've got to believe me. I would never cheat on you, Betty.
Does Betty believe Fred? Did he cheat on her? Find out in episode 3 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Cheat on. Meaning. If you cheat on somebody, you secretly have a sexual or romantic relationship with someone else. Synonyms. Betray. Be unfaithful to. Do the dirty on. Mess around. Two-time.
Fred and Betty, is this the end? Episode 3. How Betty Knows. Betty saw Fred with another lady, but Fred says he would never cheat on her.
I know all about your other lady, Fred. Your friend Martin told on you.
What did Martin say? How can Fred explain himself? Find out in episode 4 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Tell on. Meaning. If you tell on somebody, you give information about them, usually something bad to a person in authority, knowing that it will probably result in punishment. Synonyms. Inform on. Grass on. Sneak on.
Fred and Betty, is this the end? Episode 4. Who's the liar? Betty says Fred's friend Martin saw Fred cheating on Betty with another woman. Can Fred explain himself?
Don't listen to Martin, Betty. It's not true. He's making it up.
Is Martin a liar? Or is Fred the real liar? Who should Betty believe? Don't miss episode 5 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Make up. Meaning. If you make something up, you invent an untrue story or explanation, often in order to hide the truth. Synonyms. Fake. Fictionalize.
Fred and Betty, is this the end? Episode 5. Busted. Fred's friend Martin told Betty that he saw Fred cheating on Betty with another woman. Fred says that Martin is a liar.
I caught you out myself, Fred. I saw you with that other girl.
Well, what will Fred do now? Come back for episode 6 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Catch out. Meaning. If you catch somebody out, you find evidence to show that they have secretly been doing something wrong or bad. Synonyms: expose, reveal.
Fred and Betty, is this the end? Episode 6, Fred's story. Betty's very upset. She saw Fred with another woman. What's his explanation?
I was just looking after her, Betty. I gave her a hug because she was upset. That's all.
Will Betty accept Fred's story? Should she accept his story? Don't miss episode 7 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Look after. Meaning: if you look after someone or something, you take care of them or make sure that they have what they need. Synonyms: take care of, tend to.
Fred and Betty, is this the end? Episode 7, What Betty Saw. Betty saw Fred with another woman. Fred said he was just looking after her because she was upset. Over to Betty.
It was a hug which turned into a kiss, Fred. I saw you!
A kiss? He kissed her? No wonder she's angry. Is there a future for Betty and Fred? Come back for episode 8 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Turn into. Meaning: if something turns into something else, it becomes different. Synonyms: become, change into, transform into, evolve into, develop into, metamorphosize into.
Betty, is this the end? Episode 8, Desperate Fred. Betty saw Fred kissing another woman. Can he save their relationship?
Oh, please, Betty, don't hang up. You know I love you, Betty.
Will she hang up? What would you do? Don't miss episode 9 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Hang up. Meaning: if you hang up, you end a telephone call by breaking the connection between yourself and the person you are speaking to. Synonyms: ring off.
Fred and Betty, is this the end? Episode 9, Betty breaks it off. Betty saw Fred kissing another woman. Will she give him another chance?
Face up to it, Fred. This time, it's over.
Does Betty really mean it? Is this really the end? Find out in episode 10 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Face up. Meaning: if you face up to something, you accept the existence of a difficult situation. Synonyms: accept, stop hiding from.
Fred and Betty, is this the end? Episode 10, Fred Begs. Betty just broke up with Fred. And who can blame her? She saw him kissing another woman. Can Fred say anything worth listening to now?
Oh, come on, Betty. I've said sorry 1,000,000 times. Won't you take me back?
Are 1,000,000 apologies enough for Betty? Will she take him back? Don't miss episode 11 of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Take back. Meaning, if you take someone back, you restart the relationship that you had previously decided to end. Synonyms: get back together with, make up with.
Fred and Betty. Is this the end? Episode 11. Betty's had enough. Fred has just been dumped by Betty. She saw him kissing another woman. He has said sorry to her, but will she take him back?
No, Fred, it's over. I've given up on you.
How will Fred react to Betty's decision? Don't miss the final episode of Fred and Betty. Is this the end?
Give up on. Meaning, if you give up on someone or something, you stop trying to achieve something, usually because you have tried and failed in the past, or because it is too difficult. Synonyms: reach the end of the line with.
Fred and Betty. Is this the end? Episode 12. Fred works it out. Betty has dumped Fred. She caught him with another woman. But why won't she take him back?
In that case, Betty, there's only one explanation. You're going out with another man.
Fred, you're an idiot. You just don't get it, do you? Well, that's all from Fred and Betty for this series. But come back soon for lots more phrasals with Face Up to Phrasals from bbclearningenglish.com.
Go out with. Meaning, if you go out with someone, you have a romantic relationship with someone. Synonyms: date, have a relationship with.